We have 2 days left until Bitcoin creates a top wick. If Bitcoin does not come towards $93,600 at the very least, then we're gonna be in a bit of a trouble. I think it's very clear if we do not form that top wick, then I hate to say it, but hey, I think this market is hella manipulated. Because how often do you see a weekly candle without a wick on either side? Even a small wick has to be there. We barely even have any. We're bald. Bitcoin's weekly candle for this week is bald. There's no top wick. What we've been seeing very lately is most of these moves are futures driven. We have been seeing spot driven rallies for Bitcoin, but when BTC kicked in a higher gear towards 97k, a lot of futures and options positions have been opened, and it's still clear to this day we did not learn from the October 10th flash crash of Binance. People are still over leveraging in Bitcoin, and that is why you're seeing many chops. I'm not the only one seeing this. When last night, right, we went to 90,000 just before Trump spoke in the World Economic Forum, BTC went from 88k to 90k, liquidated 80 million in shorts. Then after he gave his speech in Davos, it went from 90k to 87k in 1 hour, liquidated 144 million in longs. And after Trump posted on the Social Truth platform and did his interview with CNBC, right? He's backing down on tariffs on the EU. Bitcoin pumped again back to 90k, liquidated 202 million in shorts. Total $1 billion were liquidated not 24 hours, but in the span of 4 to 6 hours. And I was watching this live. It's so annoying. And really, it's manipulation, bro. Look at this. White House is buying BTC. BlackRock buying BTC. Net inflow is still positive. Even though you see on CT that they've been moving their Bitcoin to Coinbase Prime deposits, net inflow is still heavier. And we also see Bitcoin treasury companies have been acquiring Bitcoin for the past year. They're in massive drawdown, but they're still acquiring more, right? So, if everyone is buying Bitcoin on spot or OTC, why are we seeing these dumps? Right? It's simply because of the derivatives market with futures and options. All right. Maybe okay, here's the thing. I don't believe in stop loss hunting, right? Best traders I know tell me that it's not true. They're not hunting your stop loss. But I feel like in crypto it is. I feel like in crypto this is the only market where insiders would hunt your stop loss. That's what I think. Like, the more I've been seeing these past few weeks, the more this seems to be the case, and it's so annoying, right? This is true because look at the options gamma. There's a major sell wall at 90k. Every time we try to come back up, it's a full retrace, and you notice how we're coiling up on the pump, but it's a sharp dump on the decline. Look at this. It took a while for BTC to climb towards 90k. How many hours did that take? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hours. It took 4 hours for BTC to go from 88 to 90k. And it only took 1 hour for BTC to go from 90k to 87.2k. This is futures driven, brother. And we know this for a fact because every dump has been bought on spot. Every dump. Spot flips bullish in Delta. They are buying on spot. But the dumps are triggered from futures and options, and especially more prevalent now with options, seeing that the open interest for the first time in history is much bigger than futures market. So what I'm saying is, boys, if it's bullish, but the price is being manipulated right now. This is Binance futures cumulative volume delta. So it's a downtrend, right, on the CVD for Binance futures. But what about Binance spot? If there is a divergence, it should be higher high, higher low. It looks like a downtrend too, so it doesn't seem like there's a divergence between Binance futures and Binance spot for BTC. If there is no divergence, then it was spot-led selling, which cascade to stop loss hunting for futures. Because they're playing both sides of the market, right? Because remember, they are selling the rallies. When price goes up, spot also sell. So it might be big players that would sell on spot but also have short position on futures. You know, they're playing both sides. They're gamifying this, to be honest. If insiders or institutions are really hunting stop loss, if this is really the culture now for institutions to hunt stop loss, which is supposed to be a myth, right? It has been debunked. They're not hunting stop loss. But if they are, because they have their own shorts loaded up, then yeah, they would be incentivized to drive price down lower and buy more on spot, which kind of makes sense because every time price dips, they buy a lot on spot. What this is telling us, they're committed. They really believe Bitcoin will go to 1 million or whatever the fuck the price is, because they're committed. Because otherwise, why else would they buy on spot if they don't believe it will appreciate, right? So that's why it's frustrating to see now price dumping, even though everyone is buying on spot, because I think they just need more time, or they want more time to accumulate more on spot, and they're doing it in such a dirty way. They're taking advantage of the highly leveraged environment of Bitcoin, which makes sense, right? Bitcoin is not moving like gold. It is not one-to-one with tech stocks, with NASDAQ, because on some days NASDAQ pump, Bitcoin didn't move at all, right? And Bitcoin is going the opposite way of gold. So my own opinion is Bitcoin is its own market. It's unique. This is the culture that we're going through now, where, you know, institutions are hunting stop loss, I guess. Right? So are they gonna force it to go to 77K? Nuke even more, create that wick, pick up more spot? Possibly. I'm not gonna rule that out. But if we close below, then big problem. It's the same thesis as I have for the macro time frame is for BTC. If we have a close below this higher low, then we're in trouble. Then we're ultimately fucked. Okay, we're cooked. But still, on the daily time frame, it's still higher high, higher low structure. I believe a relief bounce will come towards 93K at least, because we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 6 bearish days in a row already. Yesterday closed bullish, not bad. Can we continue up to fill 50% of this move? That is my question. Okay. All right, boys, take good care of yourselves. Smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel. My name is Ron. Jean.